Well, my name is Denny Howard. My wife is Carla. I've got two daughters. One is Denna, and he's married to Chad. And grandchildren are Carly and John Ryan and Janae and Shami. And my daughter in St. Louis, Laura, her husband is Jamie, and their daughter's named Allison. Well, I moved to Henderson in 1981. I worked for the Farmers Home Administration, and I retired in 1994. There's been a lot of links in my life, links and chains to follow Jesus Christ. I've been a Methodist all my life. My early links in my chain, of course, were my parents and my grandparents. I think my grandparents, they lived up East Kentucky, and they were the best Christians I've ever known. I can't get over how good they were. Of course, my parents took me to church, and when I was a teenager, I wanted to go to church. The MYF that we had at church was a big link in my chain becoming a Christian. I ran around in the 50s with a church group, and that wasn't cool. That wasn't cool at all. I had God and Jesus up here, but I didn't have him here. And I went to college. Boy, things went downhill fast. My mother knew this, and she had been praying for me hard. In the early 60s, I don't know exactly what year it was, I met a friend when I was at college, and his name was Willie Parker. And I came up to visit him up here. When I was here, his wife asked me, "Denny, if you died today, would you go to heaven?" And I said no. I don't imagine she had any idea whatsoever that that'd be a link in my chain. It's a very big link in my chain. It's hard to say that she had no idea what she said or what it meant to me, but what a big link that made me. You know, wow, that one thing you still remember 40, 45 years ago, but it did happen, and I know it. On April the 25th, 45 years ago, I married Carla. And many people said that they were glad that we got married, because if you hadn't, you'd have screwed up two families. So Carla and I took our children to church, and after the 1-hour service, I forgot all about God. He was not there. I liked who I was. I was funny. I could do more ornery things than most people could ever think of doing. I could tell dirty jokes for 2 hours and never stop. Did I tell you I like to play golf? After girls went off to college, more golf. God was not in the picture at all. Retired, then more golf. My motto was, if you played golf and drank beer, you can't be all bad. But God didn't give up on me. There was something missing. And I knew what it was, but I didn't want to give up who I was. One day, Carla was gone for the weekend for something. And I saw the church sign out here that said contemporary service. I had no clue what a temporary service was, not even a little bit. I didn't know whether to come or not, but I decided to come. walked in the fellowship hall, and there sat Sonny Ford and Ernie Wicker. Big, big link in my chain. They made me feel welcome, and I don't think I ever stopped coming since. When I joined the church, I said I'm going to be active, or got into church. I said I was going to be active, wasn't going to sit around. So they got around and they said, Denny, you can help in the kitchen. And that's what I did. That's how I started. Didn't seem like much but at the time or anything, but things grew. The Methodist men and Methodist church were another big link in my chain. But I was not ready to surrender all. I still went to church here and went to all the things, but didn't want to give it all. Give him some, but not all. I had back surgery. When I had back surgery, after back surgery, it says, Danny, I want you to walk, do as much walking as you can. So a little, like this, roads going around my house and made a circle. And so, if ever God was talking to me, he was talking to me that day. And I was walking down Greenville Road. Tears were falling down my eyes, crying as hard as I could. And he wanted me to surrender all. But I said no. But then, the men in the church, we took a trip to Promise Keepers. And that's when I surrendered all. How many people were linked in my chain before I surrendered all, I don't know. But there was lots and lots of links. Lots of them. When I surrendered all, did I hear any lightning and thunder? No. But I had a peace of mind. I was born again. When you're born again, you don't take off running. I didn't. I crawled like a baby. And I took baby steps. I believe if you become a mature Christian, if you have to walk from here to St. Louis, I probably hadn't got to the bridge yet up here. It took 60 years of prayer for my mom to finally have her prayers answered. But I was give my life to God. For the last couple of years, before she died, we could sit and talk about God and how wonderful. I wouldn't give anything for those years to talk with my mom. You could ask my children, where's your dad? And they would say, he's at the golf course. You can ask my grandchildren where I am. They say, he's probably at church. I just hope I can be a link in somebody's change, for they can say, I surrender all.